Hi, Gemini. This is your reading for the week of, I've been saying February 8th, but technically it'll say the 10th. So, as I started getting ready to do your reading, I started hearing words of a song, and I believe it's an Alicia Keys song, and it goes, I'm going down, repeated a few times. I'm going down because you're not around. The whole world's upside down. So, I think, Gemini, for some of you, you might be experiencing a sense of loss or a sense of ungroundedness because of something going on with a relationship. Now, the thing is, Gemini, you have a tendency to unground yourself a lot of times. What do I mean by that? And I don't mean that as in a critical way at all. It's that because so very often you don't give yourself credit. So very often what you will do is, without even realizing you're doing it, you'll undermine yourself. And part of the ways that you do that is by giving credit to other people in a way that takes it away from you. So what would that look like? That might look like being excited for somebody who's accomplished something or who's about to accomplish something or has a great idea, and then immediately taking it to, oh, that's much more than I've ever done, or I did it, but it wasn't as hard, or it wasn't as interesting. And I've seen Gemini do this quite often, where there is almost that sense of, it's not even, there is a sense of self-deprecation, but it happens at such a level, they don't even realizing they're doing it. They don't even realize that they're doing it a lot of times. What they don't realize is what that does to their energy and what that does to continue a self-image of them not being enough or always having to work at things to try to make things better or to try to be as good as other people. So what my guides are saying to you, Gemini, my lovely Geminis, is that you have a choice. You need to be conscious, however, when it comes to making the choice to not let shame or embarrassment or any of those other those early learned emotions that said you weren't enough. You've got to choose to challenge yourself when you hear yourself saying them. Do you really feel that? Do you really feel that? And when you do say those things, are you aware of the pain it's causing you? Do you let yourself actually feel how much it hurts to hear you say that stuff? If any of your good friends were to turn around and agree with you when you say something negative about yourself, you would feel that in a huge way. You're very sensitive, but often you don't let yourself be sensitive to what you yourself are saying to you. And it also makes you very vulnerable to things that other people say to you and about you. Because if it registers at all on a scale of something that you would like to be different about yourself, it can take you right down to bottom. And it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to. Why doesn't it need to? Because you're brilliant in so many ways. You have got so many innate abilities that you haven't had to learn. You haven't had to have a formal education for. Because you haven't, many of you tend to undermine those qualities and think that they're not as good as somebody else who had to learn them. It's like, man, can you start giving yourself credit for the things that you do instinctively, for the things that you know intuitively, because you've got a lot of intuition in your life. And you have a very, very good intellect. You've got a very great ability when you harness your mind, when you harness your thoughts. You can do great stuff intellectually, all right? You are at this point in time, I don't know what that is. You are at this point in time being asked to look at where you are in struggle. And I feel like this is in struggle in your life, but in struggle in your own mind, because if you're experiencing struggle in the external world, resistance in the external world, things not flowing in the external world, very often it's because things are not flowing internally. So I would say really check in with where you've been feeling stuck, where you've been feeling friction, where you've been noticing areas that have kind of made you feel weak in some ways, and check in with what that's about for you. But check in, and this is important. Before you check in, Gemini, check in from a place of power. Don't check in from a place of feeling less than. Acknowledge that you feel less than, and then take it to the place of, okay, and now what if I imagine myself feeling great? How would I look at this situation? Okay? It's a really, really good, simple little lesson. And it's it's not even a lesson, it's a simple technique to be able to shift it so that you don't have to go down the negative rabbit hole and crawl back out again. You're starting from a positive, not from a negative, in other words. When you question yourself, when you question your role, when you question choices, start from the positive, okay? And that is it for me. Gemini, I feel like this is you starting to learn how to be in touch with your emotions and use them in a positive way so that you can be aware of where things are not working for you, and you can change that by letting go of what you need to and really dreaming in a big way about what you're capable of and what you're allowed to have. Again, from the positive. What if I thought I was allowed? What if I thought I was just great? What if everybody loved me even though I make mistakes? What if? Okay? But from the positive. And that's it for you, Gemini. Take care.